Welcome back to AEW Change the World, and we're here at All Out, the third event in All Elite Wrestling's history. For those interested, there'll be a link in the description to a format to this show. Otherwise, let's get on with it. So for the first time in the save, we are utilising the pre-show. We've got Darby Allin making his debut team with Jimmy Havoc against a team of Sammy Guevara and Sonny Kiss. Kiss and Guevara pick up the win, with Kiss pinning Darby Allin. We're then into the pay-per-view, opening up with a video package which looks at the two top matches. We've got Chris Jericho v Cody, but of course there's the AEW Men's World Championship match between Kenny Omega and Pac. The commentators then introduced the show, saying that we're 1 year on from what many see as the beginning of this journey, while AEW started in January 2019. All In made history in this very building 1 year ago. Don Callis then gives his opinion on the big match mentality of Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, backing them to win their respective matches. We then go into the opening match of the night, Britt Baker versus Kylie Ray versus Nyla Rose versus Yuka Sakazaki. This match is a qualifier to the first World Women's Championship match, which will take place on Tuesday Night Dynamite's debut episode. Britt Baker wins, pinning Kylie Ray. She will face the winner of the other four-way later in the night to become the first Women's Champion. Britt Baker then celebrates in the ring after the match. Britt Baker was the first woman signed to the company. She was the first woman to win a match in the company, and we want her to be in the first Women's Championship match. Whether she'll win that match, we'll have to wait and see. We're not 100% decided on that. The commentators then introduce a graphic confirming that there'll be an 8-team tag team tournament to crown the first AEW World Tag Team Champions. They couldn't reveal the teams yet. The tournament probably won't start until, at the earliest, the second episode of Tuesday Night Dynamite, but we just wanted to get out there that a tag team championship is coming. The second match of the night, Shima and T-Hawk versus the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks win the match. They're going to be the backbone of the division for a long time to come. They're on long contracts, written contracts. Shima and T-Hawk are just part-timers. We don't want to hurt the credibility too much of the OWE guys, but there's no real harm in you losing to the Young Bucks. They then stand tall. We'll then move into a video package for Hangman Page, putting over his journey to getting in the best shape of his life. This clip's from a sit-down interview with him, where he talks about the other members of the Elite being made men, but AEW was his chance to prove himself. Hangman was optimistic going into Double or Nothing, but he has since suffered back-to-back losses. That means that there's doubts creeping in for him and the risk he took. He then puts over Chris Daniels as one of the toughest guys to face, especially when you're in a difficult moment of your career. The story of the match is just Hangman trying to get that pressure off his shoulders, and he does that, defeating Christopher Daniels, despite the SCU member being in control for much of the match. After the match, Hangman Page celebrates. This is put over as a huge moment for him, finally getting that monkey off his back. He has won his first match in AEW. We then get an interview with Britt Baker, who talks about her win earlier in the night, which is interrupted by Priscilla Kelly, Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc. Priscilla is in the other match, and she says that she is going to be the one to defeat Britt Baker and become the first Women's World Champion in AEW. We then go into the three-way tag team match, Best Friends, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky and the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros win. Post-match, they stand tall. We're again putting over the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros are the two top tag teams in the division, and they're likely the favourites to be in the tournament final, but of course anything can happen along the way. We then get a video package which puts over that while Marty Scurll was contracted elsewhere, Cody tried to replace him in the Elite. The rest of the Elite didn't quite take to his choice of replacement MJF, and this led to issues between MJF and the rest of the Elite, particularly Marty Scurll, who debuted defeating Cody Rhodes in just under a minute. Provocation from MJF led to Marty Scurll putting his place in the Elite up in the match. If he loses, he is out of the Elite for good. Before the match, MJF cuts a heat-seeking promo saying that he's going to replace Marty Scurll in the Elite and reveals a custom-made t-shirt with the Elite design and the added slogan, Salt of the Earth. MJF says that the t-shirts will be available on Pro Wrestling Tees in about the time it takes for him to sell out an AEW event. We'll then move into the match, a good C-rating match. I'm surprised by that. Marty Scurll defeats MJF. It's a fairly short match. MJF looking to cheat, uses the umbrella at one point, but nonetheless Marty Scurll is able to pick up the victory. It was supposed to be by submission with a chicken wing, but I've obviously put pinfall by mistake. But C-rated match, I'm really pleased with that. Just a quick, fun match. We want the drama of the potential of Marty losing, but it's short enough to give him a decisive victory against MJF. Scurll then celebrates the fact that he will remain a member of the Elite. We then go straight to Cody Rhodes, who is in the back. He is happy to have MJF and Marty's issues behind him because he is looking forward to his huge match up next. Chris Jericho is not supposed to be on screen there, that's a mistake. Nonetheless, Cody puts over the strides he's made to make AEW a success and the attitude of Chris Jericho that's really rubbed him up the wrong way. That's what's led into this match, and he just defends AEW, vowing to give everything to defeat Chris Jericho. So Cody v Chris Jericho gets a C+. Chris Jericho again getting a B rating. He's like the second best guy in the company after Kenny Omega. He picks up another win. It's another gritty brawl-based match. The relentless Chris Jericho wins with a codebreaker. After the match, he shows how much was taken out of him and leaves up the ramp. Cody is left bloody in the ring, having fought and given his all for AEW. This time allows the commentators to put over the work that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks have put in to making All Elite Wrestling what it is today. But adding that as of tonight and going into Tuesday Night Dynamite's debut, they have officially given up any matchmaking duties. As of this moment, Cody and the Young Bucks are just regular members of the roster. A video package then looks back at the footage from the opening match. Britt Baker became the first half of the first ever AEW Women's World Championship match. The match up next will see the other half of that match confirmed. Bea Priestley versus Miyu Yamashita v Priscilla Kelly v Sadie Gibbs. Miyu Yamashita getting by far the best rating in that. A D rating match isn't too bad. We did think that we were going to have the Women's World Championship match main event the first episode of Tuesday Night Dynamite. Having seen the ratings, I'm not really sure I can do that. With that said, Bea Priestley wins the match, pinning Priscilla Kelly to become the second half of the Women's World Championship match that will take place at Tuesday Night Dynamite. We then get a video package confirming that October the 1st, 2019, Tuesday Night Dynamite is coming to TNT. This leads into a video package promoting the journey of Kenny Omega and Pac. Both of them have won both of their matches in the first two AEW events, and this allows them to go into the first ever AEW Men's World Championship as the top two contenders. A long 37-minute match, a B-, I'm quite pleased with that. Kenny Omega with a B+, Pac with a B-. Again, the commentary letting us down. Nonetheless, an impressive main event that could have been helped by me building the show better, seeing that we only got a decent reaction, but it was superb wrestling action in the match, so a lot to build on, and Kenny Omega becomes the first AEW Men's World Champion. After the match, Kenny Omega is handed the title by the referee. He celebrates in the ring, standing tall to end yet another AEW show. So that's the end of the show. A B- rating, increasing our popularity in I think every region that we were shown in. Kenny Omega v Pac, of course, a huge part of that. Not too many people are going to be surprised by Kenny Omega being the first AEW Men's World Champion, but nonetheless, I want to explain the thought process behind that. Simply put, Kenny Omega is one of the few guys on the planet with a legitimate claim to being the best wrestler in the world. My main priority with the company is to have two strong world titles, and making Kenny the first champion adds credibility to that and legitimizes the title as a symbol of the very best in the world. Of course, we want to build up new stars, but by putting the top title on the top guy from the start, when somebody does eventually beat him, it's going to mean so much more. That task is going to be more difficult with the women's division, and it's more of a long-term goal, but there will be reinforcements throughout the roster as we move on to our next show, the debut of Tuesday Night Dynamite, live on TNT.